The NCC has been absolutely critical in charting a different conversation with nations. When you figure where we were 10 years ago, the only voices that you heard were those who were opposed to these kinds of projects. And I would say that NCC has had a major breakthrough in giving elevation to the voices who say, you know what, the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, that means we have the right to say yes too. And that's what I have so enjoyed about the work that they've done as I've watched them grow over the last number of years, is that there's a chorus of voices who say we tried the other way and it didn't alleviate poverty.
With the NCC, since its inception, has really been incredible in moving the meter in terms of bringing industry and Indigenous communities together, working with governments for meaningful Indigenous economic reconciliation.
In Kitimat, there's the Canada LNG plant that's gone in. A $40 billion project, Canada's biggest private project in history. This is on the traditional territory of the Haisla people. One of the things that's very different with this is that their leader, Crystal Smith, took ownership of this project. So the Haisla are the owners of this project. So again, it's very different than it was in days gone by, where that would have been the First Nation may not even have been consulted, may not have been engaged with, or maybe would not have been able to prosper economically.
Obviously, Indigenous partnerships are absolutely critical to continue to develop resources, and we've come a long way in those partnerships, and we can go even further. And NCC has just always been a great, credible voice in that space of being, constructive and saying, let's work together to get this right.
I think the National Coalition of Chiefs was one of the very first willing to speak out. Now look who we have. We have First Nations Major Projects Coalition, First Nations LNG Alliance. There's dozens and dozens of chiefs that are willing to speak out in favor. The entire conversation changed.
NCC was certainly our go-to in terms of mentorship, if you like. The way they organize it, it feels very real. They've obviously got good networks. And they're very concrete, and they're not, as I say, it's not looking for sympathy or anything. They make a really good business case. They're not asking for handouts. It's about doing something concrete for people now.
So yeah, their work is really profoundly meaningful, not just to Indigenous communities or the industry, but for Canada.